Cheers, Paul. I appreciate the the cable just falling down my chest as we're about to go.
I just wanted an excuse to put my hands on you, of course.
You don't need any excuse, Dust. Anytime, mate. Anytime. But yeah, we see Renegades get a pretty convincing victory on Train, I think it's safe to say. And now we're moving to their map of Nuke. And this is where we thought, before this best of 3 even kicked off, that it was likely going to be them taking this home. So now, is the 2-0 more than likely going to happen?
I mean, they look pretty good against Signature when we watch them play, but it's not like they've actually played a whole heck of a lot of Nuke since this lineup came together, so the sample size is still pretty small in understanding exactly how they approach it. Meanwhile, Immunity, with the core of their lineup, actually pretty good online on Nuke within the Australian scene. They're not too shabby, and they've also, played it one time offline and also won it there as well. I believe that was at one of the, Cyber Gamer Premier League finals or something like that. They had a win on Nuke, pretty big one against Legacy, I think it was. So they definitely seem to be able to play Nuke pretty well in their own right in their region. So I mean, this might not be that one-sided of an affair from Renegades, despite it being their map pick and a comfort for them. Particularly their T side, they looked really strong on. They seem to have a really good understanding about how they wanted to approach it. They're definitely comfortable. They're well drilled on it. So, I mean, the 2-0 is definitely real, but I wouldn't, super count Immunity out as long as they can get their act together and, get their players' minds right. Look more like the Immunity we saw earlier, where they were winning to find their way here, rather than the one that really just fell flat on Train.
Yeah, I feel like the Immunity that got through to this stage of the tournament got here by taking the initiative, by dictating the pace of the action, by imposing their will on their opponents. And we just didn't see that on Train. They're much more timid, they're much more passive. I like to see them all come out all guns blazing. I mean, they don't really have anything to lose. Even if they do lose this game, we're talking about the fact that whoever wins this will go through to the qualifier for the major. Well, you're not knocked out if you lose this. You just go to the lower bracket. You still have another shot. It is possible we may still see 2 Aussie teams take part in the major qualifier later on down the road anyway. But, of course, winning this game just gets you there straight away.
Yeah, it's all about guarantees. It's guaranteed if you win this series that you have a slot for the major qualifier. You're guaranteed at least a decent chunk of change. I mean, obviously, first place has a sizable more amount, right? But second place still not too shabby to at least ensure that you're walking away with something. So those are definitely some big things. Also, just for prestige and pride, right? I mean, those are the other 2 big things that people fight for. It's not always about the cash or anything like that. It's about proving yourself that you're one of the best out there.
All right, so we're just waiting for the 2 teams to get themselves ready. You can see that, you're trying to G themselves up so they can get back into this one. As you can see that on your screen, Renegades did take map 1 of Train in pretty convincing fashion in the end. A fairly toothless T side saw Immunity have a pretty vast deficit to undergo. I think it was a 12-3 first half. Do correct me if I'm wrong there, Dust, but I'm pretty sure it was. So I'll be looking for a much better result this time around. Of course, they are starting on the CT side, so there's less aggression required. But Nuke a map that can be quite unforgiving for the CTs, especially outside now with the addition of the outside catwalk. Secret, of course, is very easy to get down if you have just a couple of very basic smokes to fend off. It's
kind of funny. It seems like Nuke outside is almost like middle on most other maps where you kind of use it as your foundation. Like if you grab control of it with the smoke wall, you have so many options open to you. You can go Secret to lower. You can wrap around to heaven and still combine that with other players in lobby to do some type of outer split. You can get into mini garage. Again, work that into some type of upper split. So there's a lot of options from just simply controlling outside. And it's very difficult for CTs to deal with because usually you can only commit probably 2 players to putting any focus on outside at most. And you have so many responsibilities of having to watch the standard spot, as well as the fact that rafters are so much more accessible to players because you don't have to do any crazy run boosting or anything like that to get there. You could simply just walk around it. Getting on top of silo is easier, so now you have to worry about that almost every single round. So, yeah, there's a lot to think about outside. So, and Renegades are good at controlling it.
Well, here we go. Kicking off the map for what could be the last time of today. If this does go the 2-0, we'll have another 3 best of 3s tomorrow for you. Let's find out which of these 2 teams will be battling it out in the lower brackets. Wizard moving towards the hut, knocking out the vent on his way. And now he's going to bounce to be aggressed on by multiple terrorists, but he's going to hold his footing for the time being. Does get a 1-for-1 trade, and now Nifty up close and personal takes down Urkas, is looking for more. Nearly flicks onto the head. of the outside Moe, who's now dropped down and what could be his demise. And indeed, he gets finished off by Nifty. And Burn, are you okay? Aptly next to the fire extinguisher. And it's JKS that will take him out of his misery. Renegades with a quick-fire first pistol. Pretty rough start from Unity once again.
That's actually a good play off of Renegades. When they played against Signature, their pistol round was a similar opening pattern, but they went straight vents to lower. Instead, that time they just swept through the upper. So that was kind of a neat little thing. They were trying to, you know, fake out immunity a little bit, play some mind games there. Also, just great playing from Nifty, just great kills. Also, the way he angled himself on that last player outside. He didn't overextend. He kind of played more passive. He dropped back. He reset his angle, made sure he couldn't get spotted as he reset. So just good decision-making from Nifty there. It was a little bit illustrated. And, of course, they will go ahead and buy up, and they will go for that outside control. Again, they do this a lot of the rounds. They really love to control this. This will be no exception to that rule as they have 4 members well pushed out now.
Just the one Deagle. Moe electing to pick up nothing into this round whatsoever. Always curious to see why that's going to be the case later on. I mean, you normally assume that would be for the reasons of an AWP, but Gratifaction is typically the AWPer. Maybe going to switch things up here on Duke. Nifty anyway is going to claim first blood of round 2. Moe, the man in question, will fall. That 5-7 was so close to landing. An outright kill and potentially a few more afterwards. Nexus down to 2. The Deagle hero of Train. Gratifaction goes looking and will get the better of Azza. As a result, he's going to be able to pick up a second kill alongside Burn, are you okay? And actually takes out Nexa in the smoke. It's gone horribly wrong for Renegades now. It's all on Nifty. Probably the played one in this position. But time is of the essence and he doesn't have control of the bomb.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much impossible for Nifty. Great work from Immunity, particularly Gratifaction with the 5-7 in vents. Did a lot of work. Great crossfire from the laughter room. As Nifty does at least get one frag and gets in here. He's running out of time. He has so much to worry about.
He's trying to fake the bomb, thinking someone's in decal. And of course, from our perspective, we can see that's not the case. And now he's going to go for the outright plant, surely. He's going to hold on to this one. He's about to be pushed from Urcast. Unfortunate. You have to roll the dice when there's about 6 seconds to go. A valiant attempt takes 2 players with him, but still, Immunity. They have caused an upset in that round. They bring it back to 1 apiece. And it's mainly down to this man on your screen right now. Gratifaction, some serious 5-7 chops.
Yeah, particularly just stopping the bomb plant inside the smoke was probably the key frag, but also catching Azza jumping across. He heard him. I was hoping that when Azza jumped across, there'd be another player watching back halls and almost establish like a crossfire to make sure if someone did pop back out vents, you catch that and stop that from having an impact. But it turned into a 1v1 duel that Gratifaction wins. And again, getting the bomb plant out of the equation was key, which means Renegades has been reset, but they will force up what they can here. So we have a scrappy beginning to this game. Last time, it was a conservative approach from Renegades. This time, they just want to go at it immediately as they come out squeaky door.
Nifty with a molly kill of all things onto Gratifaction. Moe quickly returning the favor, but with the AK allowing the bullets to do the work. Renegades already down to B, but they don't seem to have control of the bomb.
Yeah, I think they kind of slipped up and forgot to bring it down with them or something.
This has got really sketchy all of a sudden. Now, Estillo may be able to cause some issues from lower site up round secret, but yeah, the bomb's been dropped. You can see there it's in main. So I assume it's that classic.
That is unfortunate. I don't know if
terrorist nightmare where the bomb carrier dies and just throws the bomb like 10 meters away for some unknown reason.
Yeah, I guess that is what happened. That is unfortunate.
Well, that is rough.
Oh, Halo there. He spots a butt.
Oh, Urcast did get dinked, but able to put the UMP to use, as will Wizard. And that round went from being a potential bomb plant on B, and who knows what would happen, to basically nothing, just hitting a dead end.
Yeah, those unfortunate bounces that take place when the bomb carrier goes down, unfortunately, can definitely throw a wrench in things. So that means Renegades will now take pretty much a full save. They'll probably buy what they can so they don't handicap themselves, but they're not going to, like, you know, invest into this too much.
No, minimal investment on JKS, who has a Tech 9, bit of utility, but that's by and large it. Again, they have managed to get down the vents, but there's going to be JKS that will find his fate at the hands of Urcast. To make matters worse, the bomb also dropped down on B. It is pretty much a throwaway round. They've managed to get into heaven. And Estilo's already got downhill around the back of ramp. Incredible how aggressive Renegades are. If they had anything but Glocks, you fancy their chances maybe. I'm going to get a kill onto Burn, are you okay? But it's a UMP and no Kevlar for Azza. So his aim's going to go all over the place if he gets tagged. But more importantly, the bomb dust is just in no man's land.
Indeed it is. Trying to get that and get a plant's going to be pretty much impossible. Renegades just hoping to see what damage they can do in this round, it feels like. Trying to see how many rebuys they can force, because winning the round, 2 guys on Glocks, no armor, you would expect to be pretty much impossible, and there goes one of them already. As it does get a little bit more damage out of this UMP hiding in heaven this whole time, so at the very least he's forcing a little bit of rebuying, but yeah, there wasn't much hope for Renegades there, of course. But now they'll be onto a full buy this round, and this is where I expect to see them really start establishing themselves outside again and again. You know, smoke wall is definitely going to be the option now with 5 players with smokes. Nifty has an AWP. Stick him out there, let him take duels. So again, I think the focus will now shift right back to, you know, outside play in a full gun round like this. And then from there, the options are endless on what Renegades wants to do.
It's Renegades' chance to chop and deplete the funds immunity down somewhat. Well, they will be able to buy in the next round. It's not going to be fantastic. So 3-1 behind with an early peak in ramp. Urcast is letting players run past him in the smoke. And he's outside, by the way, next to red container. So this is going to be so brutal for them to deal with. And it's the bomb carrier. Could not have gone any better for immunity. Fair enough, he will go down. Estilo also has picked himself up a kill. So that is going to neutralize the bulk of what Urcast was able to do. A nice flick onto Gratisfaction. Not much you could do about that. So it seems, although Urcast did get the drop on them, since then, it's been all Renegades. Just got to balance that falchion knife.
Mine as well. I mean, they're way down this round. Again, it looked a little bit messy because even though the outside smokes came out, I mean, it was a great play from Aircast to get in their way and get the bomb down, crucially, but just a great response from Nifty and Ustillo. They reel it right back in. They don't let it get out of hand. And now they have a 4-on-2. They had the bomb in their possession. They're coming down lower. Nifty have the smoke to plant inside of. And now the retake will just get absolutely cut off by JKS in lobby. So another round coming up for Renegades. Not letting immunity build up too much more of a lead. And remember, they did some damage with Az's UMP not so long ago. So that means they have a low money on a couple of their players, actually.
Yeah, they're going to have to drop. Fortunately, though, they did have, I'm not sure if it was Urcast or Wizard, but one of them had like $11,000.
Yeah.
So he's able to drop 2 weapons, and they're going to get a full M4 buy out of this. The thing is, though, as you just noticed, because of that, the only player with any kind of money is Wizard with 1,700. Everyone else is below $300 or so. Yeah,
it's like $0 on a couple of them, $50 on one of them. Yeah. So it's definitely going to be a save if this does not work out.
Exactly. The pressure's on.
Especially with the guaranteed slot for the qualifier on the line here. As again, the smokes will come out from Renegades. Not moving out just yet, but now it is that 3-man gather once more. Maybe just, you know, openly inviting duels to come their way. That gap, though, is going to be devastating. Well, we get to free frag for that. And that's Nifty out with the AWP.
Sneaky kill, but it will get retorted. As Estillo puts down the hammer. And Urcast shattered out of this round. Just shy of a minute to play with. Typically, when Renegades have got that early 1-4 trade, they're able to capitalize on it. We saw this time and time again on Train. Immunity do have quite a bit of utility still to play with. And, of course, 2 kits. Renegades seemingly happy enough to stack at the top site for the time being. Players outside, couple in lobby. One of which is now moved into Squeaky, and they're going to be pushing through main. It's a double prone attack. But now from the backside, it's Gratisfaction with a spray. He's able to get 2 kills. 23 seconds, it's all on Estillo. He's already picked up 3 in this round. He's actually on for the ace and the 1v2 clutch. He's going to get the first one. Bring it down to the duel to the death with Burn, are you okay?
Oh,
who looks to be getting the drop on him. This should be a kill for him every day of the week, and indeed it shall. Very unfortunate for Estillo. Valiant attempt, but not quite good enough.
Yeah, I mean, that was like the worst spot a CT could be playing from his perspective in that clutch situation. Obviously had no idea where that last player was. Just picks the wrong spot. and that's it. But yeah, great individual effort from you still at the very least. Again, a new variation from Renegades. This time they go straight heavy mini after getting outside control as opposed to back halls or something like that. Again, showing you all the options that they have, but just a great hold from Immunity across the board to stay in the round, and then of course the 1v1 being won by Burn with the superior positioning. And so now it'll be a force buy for Renegades, looking to line up in Squeaky Hall once more. Will Aircast print money with the UMP is the question.
Very possible. He actually gets caught with a nade out, and now Gratisfaction is going to need to be the one to put out those dollar bills. Nifty, a bit late to the party. Going to get flashed, not really going to bother him too much. No one's pushing behind it. Just a P250 to play with. Another flash. So he knows where one of these players are. He knows that Gratisfaction is up there somewhere. It's really the other two that's the problem. He's hoping that one of them makes a huge mistake. Not going to happen. Well held by Immunity. It was looking a bit dicey for a second when Urquest got killed in Team Ain, but they're able to get themselves back into the round pretty handedly.
Yeah, we'll see the buyback up on Renegades. This time around, Nifty would have to glass cannon if he wanted to opt, and that's not going to be the case. He wants to get the armor and utility in, so it'll be a full AK round. Again, plenty of smokes. You wonder if they just keep going to the tried and true outside control and just kind of play off that. But there's also a couple of set upper executes you could do with all this utility as well.
Smoke heading outside, try and get rid of any vision from outside heaven, but this is a ruse. It is a fake. Burn, are you okay? He's not going to fall for it. Instead, he's going to pick up a kill, dropping the bomb in the process. And also backs away so he doesn't get forced down.
Wasn't entirely a ruse. They wanted to do a lower back hall split. They got the back hall players in position. It's just that the ramp portion of the attack has been cut off, but now JKS battling for it gets them through, and so now they can make the split work. Unless Moe and Aircast have something to say about it. That's the bomb down again.
And to make matters worse, Aircast has the decon stairs under control. JKS has managed to reclaim what was once the terrorist and has the C4 on his back. And he also has 4 players trying to weigh him down. Looked like a much more solid unit immunity on the CT side of Nuke. Renegades haven't quite had their way just yet. Still early days though. And there's Wizard just perched on top in the lobby. 6-2.
Well, we talked about it before, though Renegades are comfortable on this map and they've shown us their power on it against Signature on day 1. It's not as if Immunity are any strangers to Nuke. They have a pretty good online record in the Australian scene. Not as much play with Wizard, of course, as he is a recent addition after the qualifier for this minor. But still, the core of the lineup very fluent with it, and they're definitely delivering thus far. We haven't seen Renegades get too much out of this. We had a couple of rounds that were close, I guess, but one thing that I keep noticing that's been kind of funny in these rounds is the fact that it seems like every time Immunity gets the first kill of the round, it always seems to be the bomb carrier. And so it always seems like they just get, you know, instant information off of the first frag of the round. Sometimes the bomb has bounced in unfortunate ways to allow them to be able to pretty easily hold on to it and not let Renegades reclaim it. So that's just kind of one like little fun fact I feel like that's happened in this game thus far.
Yeah, I mean, the round that instantly springs to mind is when it dropped in main and suddenly the CTs outside had full control. Even though they had a play, I think it was Ustillo that was down below on B, just chilling out. Renegades have called the pause, which just came and gone. Just pistols. It's mainly for the next round, I'm sure, that they called the pause for anyway. But the Eagles, P250s, maybe looking to try and get some action on catwalk outside, but that's a pretty solid start by Gratisfaction. Headshot delivered first class to JKS, piercing through the hut. Cast is going to have more opportunities to shine in this round 2. He did spot a second player. That call will come through to the rest of his team. Now Moe realizes that outside is where the terrorists reside. Instead, he decides to back away, allowing Gratisfaction to pad his stats a little bit more. 3K in this round from his perspective. How Nifty, again, sole Remainer for Renegades. But that pause really was for the next round. They're going to have assault rifles and the whole works. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, again, this is your pick, so you have to come up with something on your T side. You've obviously known you're probably going to start here. And I feel like they've done well on establishing outside control. They just haven't always had the best results of bouncing off of it into whatever, you know, mid-round call they go for. But they'll get a few more cracks at it, and they have Nifty back on the AWP this round. And, of course, he's been fairly brilliant today with it. Had some massive plays throughout the day, particularly on train against Immunity. So we'll see what he can do with it here now, as a lot of counter utility from Immunity outside. They know that this is something Renegades focused on, and they're at times have played up close or at least tried to use nades to slow them down and do chip damage.
You can see there from the wide angle back of the garage. Cast is the player in secret. He goes for a peek. You will find a couple of stray terrorists looking to find a home on the A site. He's going to get burned. Going to take a lot of damage there, actually, down to 39. I mean, he could have stayed in position or moved slightly forward, but that would have made him very vulnerable to a potential aggression. But he's going to go back in for seconds. And honestly, if a nade just goes in there, he's basically going to get killed. Moe with an angle simply as I was not expecting. He's going to get caught with a smoke out and should be finished off. Indeed, he shall.
I'm not sure why he pulled the smoke out there. I mean, you're just inviting yourself to be vulnerable. That's a great spot. Hardly anyone ever plays it. Definitely caught Renegades off guard, but now they get it back into a 4-on-4. Well then. Brilliant. And if you would have blinked, you probably would have missed the end result of that, as it was looking decent for Renegades, but then they just get blasted as they try to come through Mini in heaven. So, well played there by Immunity. As that was a different kind of smoke wall from Renegades outside. They were almost inviting duels up close by Mini as opposed to blocking everyone off and going back halls, but weren't really able to find much, mostly thanks to kind of Moe slowing them down and then just an absolute shutdown by Immunity inside the upper site.
Is this time for an upper hit, or just a fast Tech-9 rush? And trying out with these tactical plays, nothing's really been working for them. The answer is no, they're not going to go through with it just yet. That's after a timeout as well. Renegades are still going to have a pretty fruitless endeavor on this T side. Molly on top of the hut. No one's home anyway. Gratisfaction's been there a couple of times. Ah, okay. So they're setting up as though they're about to rush in. Instead, they go down into drop, but they get completely decimated from a flashbang. Burn, are you okay? Does a lot of damage before he will fall down. That's probably going to be enough for Akas to do something, but he gets nailed. No hope of anything from that with the Tech-9 to the dome. What the hell is that? He must be tilted. Regardless, though, Azza will feel the sting from Gratisfaction's M4. Bomb has been planted. JKS will be holding the close angle. He felt like he could have got a couple kills for his troubles there. Now Stilo's Tech-9 is going to have to rattle off some more shots if he wants to clutch this one. Oh, and Gratisfaction doesn't even check it. Moe now with his AWP is forced to play aggressively. He'd love to have a HE just to throw down there on a Stilo, who doesn't have to move a muscle at this stage, and Renegades have done it. They're going to win this round with Tech-9s.
It was just off the back of a simple fake. All the utility going up are definitely drawing Immunity's attention there. They have to respect the utility, especially when you know you're probably up against a low buy. You figure, yeah, surely they're just going to go off the back of this and just try to make something happen, go for a plant, try to get some lucky frags, but instead they shift quickly down ramp, drop down, overwhelm the player holding the angle, and just catch a couple of key frags, and all of a sudden they have the round in the bag. And so a round somewhat stolen away from Immunity there. Luckily, they've had plenty of money stored up, so rebuying is not really an issue this round. Probably won't be an issue next round either. But maybe this will be that spark Renegades needs. Immunity have played a great half up until this point. Will they continue, or can Renegades start shifting towards the comeback? With map 1 already under their belts, they'd love to go ahead and finish off this series now, get that guaranteed slot for the qualifier. As Immunity will do something a bit different this round. They've actually boosted a player in ramp room, so definitely could catch Renegades off guard if they ever decide to put any attention, but they very rarely gone towards ramp, to be honest.
Just that previous round, pretty much, yeah. Which was off the back of a fake onto A.
Oh, there was that one other round they tried to split inner from back halls and ramp room as well, so 2 rounds, I guess.
Cheeky angle from Burn, are you okay? Unlikely to see action, considering that there is a variety of nades being utilized outside Moe's position. Oh, that looked like it wasn't too far off. Thought he may have landed that one. He's going to go back in again. And that patience is going to pay off for him. He gets the better of Nifty, who goes looking. Maybe his hubris will be his downfall on that occasion. No flashes or anything preceding the peak. Next to those, straight out onto the side, he's going to be looking for the plant. There is one in the vents, which is Moe, but he wants to wait for Burn. Are You Okay? Who, of course, previously was seen on ramp, who's going to get completely eviscerated. And his Nexa will drop the guillotine on his head. And now Moe, the player in vent, has been spotted, and for the second consecutive round, he is just going to try and save that AWP. So Renegades are back in this now. It was a very slow start, but they're starting to build some momentum.
Yeah, if Nexa just tripled his frag count for the entire half in this one round. He's had a really tough time. I think he was 1-11 coming to this, if I'm not mistaken. This time he pops off a hat trick of frags to give Renegades one of the few rounds they found this half. So good to see that someone who's been, fairly quiet this game steps up, makes a big individual play to help Renegades put another point on the board. And the money still there for Immunity, so that won't catch up to him just yet. But at least Renegades are starting to get out there, get something going. They avoid getting reset. That's good. Allows them to store a little bit of money on a couple of their players. So we'll see if they can keep it going, as money is starting to get low on Immunity now. So maybe a win here could force some type of save for last situation for Immunity.
Well, they have a bit of round loss coming up as well, so very much depends on how this one ends if they were to lose. And again, outside seems to be the aggression of choice. They have been pretty successful with this. Renegades, even in the rounds they've been losing, been getting down into secret, and Moe just threads 2 kills through the smoke. Renegades get pummeled. He's not going to get a third, and Renegades have answered back with 2 kills of their own. So for all the theatrics and drama through the smoke, it's actually pretty even. 2-on-2 now, with so much time left. JKS and Astillo have control of the bomb. Again, they're in no great rush to get the plant down. They know where one of the players are now, and it stands to reason the other one would probably be coming from the other side near main. Sure, Renegades will be thinking about this. They're going to look for a flash into a peek. Burn Are You Okay, though, is playing more passive, and that's a huge kill. That's probably the deciding moment, unless JKS can pull out a huge play out of his back pocket. And that one trade in heaven could be it all done. He's going to knock out the vent. This is where time is really going to help him. He can fake as if he's gone elsewhere and try and isolate these 2 CTs from one another, get 2 1v1s. Still just scurrying around. 20 seconds now. He's running out of time. He's going to have to commit to the A side. But the positions, to be fair to Immunity, are spot on. Urkas can just wait, and he gets peeked from behind. Very well played by Immunity. Nice try by JKS, but ultimately 9-4 will be the score.
Yeah, started off okay here, but it's just Moe does so much damage early on. Renegades does respond to a degree, but just not enough, and so it will be 9-4. 2 rounds left to play. Renegades does have enough money to buy up here, but they have to kind of think it through. I mean, Nexa can definitely drop one, as well as buy for himself. But then you still probably have one player who's going to be a bit limited here. Probably have to go for like a UMP armor, nade set type of situation.
Yeah.
And then obviously if you go for it all here, then you lose. You don't really have much for last round.
Oh, they've gone for it though. They pulled the trigger.
Yep. So they're just going to put all their eggs in this basket. Fair enough. Still not too shabby of a buy. You still get the Op and Nifty's hands, who's been pretty brilliant with it. You got to fancy his chances based on how he's played today to be able to put in some work. Ustillo's done well on entering uppers, particularly from Mini Garage on multiple occasions, so giving him an AK armor definitely can give you something there. Tech9's nothing to be, passed up on. Definitely can be a nuisance. But again, Immunity have constructed a solid CT side. I mean, they've really given Renegades a lot of trouble. And it's been everyone on Immunity stepping up to do it. It's great to see them back to, full production like has been the case through most of their other games this tournament.
Now, first map seemed like they were caught in some kind of a slumber. But clearly waking up now before it's too late. Renegades have a better buy than I was originally anticipating. JKS had $3,750, just went for the outright AK as opposed to any utility. Burn Are You Okay, who previously has been here, never seen action, instantly railed by the Tech9 alongside Urkas. Ramp has been taken control of. The invasion has been a success with a bomb plant on B.
That was nasty that they picked up on that boosted position inside ramp room. you just got to shake your head at that point if you're Immunity. But we'll see if they can still make the retake work. There's still some hope that that kill coming through, but the trade right back. No kits. That's the big problem here.
And I should mention as well that now it's Immunity that are looking to have a shambolic buy in the last round. If Moe can hold on to this M4, they can maybe rubbish together a couple of M4s, maybe a couple of UMPs and make a real go of it, but...
Access denied.
Exactly. The door has been locked. He should be okay anyway, though. There's no one's going to face him. But Renegades, just with pure Tech 9 power, steam through on the ramp room, make it their own. And I can see Immunity. This is the issue that they had going for them. If they saved another M4, they've actually had a pretty decent buy, but instead it's going to be Wizard on a CZ and probably Gratisfaction on something similar. Yeah, 5-7.
Yeah, so right here towards the end of the half, Renegades has finally started to settle in. I mean, there was a streak going there where it was like 7 rounds in a row for Immunity early in the half. So, I mean, they were up at one point, 7-1, 8-3 was the score at one point. Fitting in some rounds as they will go with the tried and true smoke wall outside as usual. Impressive upper, but unfortunately Immunity are taking 4 positions and they're lighting up the board.
Oh, Moe is just cleaning house with his AWP. Nifty. A 1-on-4 has got the first. He's also going to get tagged out. Was so nearly able to land that shot through the wall. That would have been disgusting. Still, though, his position compromised. His health low. His chances bleak.
Knees weak. Arms are heavy.
Palms sweaty.
Where's Mom Spaghetti?
Doesn't even have the bomb. Right, Nifty, you've pulled off a ridiculous clutch earlier today. Can you break Reddit again?
Or the power breakers at the studio. Throw that one in there as well.
Did get the bomb. Seems like a bit of an oversight from the CTs to allow him to pick that up so easily. Oh, and Moe a bit too early on the trigger that time around. It's afforded Nifty the opportunity to go down into B. This is far further than I anticipated him to get. May get a bomb plant, of course. Doesn't matter in terms of finances, but it's all about shifting the pressure away from him to the CTs. They now have to come to him. They now have to come into his web. And Nifty is going to strike with 1. 2 more players to find. He's halved this clutch scenario.
Has the Incendiary to stop the defuse.
And another one comes down, and this is where the Incendiary and HE could be so massive. Burn, are you okay? Has he just gone to the side? I'm not entirely sure he's came off it. Now Nifty is trying to play possum, but Burn, are you okay? Hits the headshot. Does he have enough time? This is incredibly close.
Not quite.
Oh, he's got the defuse.
I didn't think he had it. There's like a little bit of like a sound glitch there for a second in my headphones where it looked like it was a done deal, but he just gets it. Man, Nifty was looking so sharp in that clutch. He had, like you said, the Incendiary to be able to throw down the bomb and just be like the checkmate move, especially with no kit. There's no chance he defuses if he has to wait for the fire to settle. And I feel like he wanted to do just like a quick jiggle peek and just buy more time and step back, which is the right approach. But I think he stepped just a little bit too wide. That or he got like really antsy because he saw he could blindside him because when he did that first peek, his opponent was like looking up towards vents. So he thought, oh, yeah, I could get the easy frag and finish this. Happens to hang out there just a little bit too long. Frag happens, bomb defusal just in the nick of time. What a roller coaster ride around that really was, though.
And of course, at the same time, it's easy to say, why didn't you just throw the Incendiary out? He didn't know that Burn, are you okay, didn't have a kit. For all he knows, he did have a kit, and he could have just waited until after the Incendiary ran its course. Plus, he may have just been caught in the heat of the moment. There's so many variables as to what happened in that play. Unfortunate. A nice try, though. 1v4, and it came down to 1v1. But we're in the second half, and already loads of damage has been inflicted on both teams, but Immunity are coming out ahead with 2 Glock headshots. Moving down onto B. Renegades, on their choice of map, trailed by 10 and 5. They need this pistol. And so far, so good for Immunity. Although 4 of their players on around 50% of their health. Azza with 1, who still out catches a Burn, are you okay, from the backside. Immunity can't afford to let this one slip. Bomb about to get planted. The backside of A site for Heaven. There is a player up there, which is going to be Wizard, I believe. In fact, no, Wizard's behind the vent. And he's going to be the one to claim the last 2 kills. Was that a jump burst Glock shot? That is disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, just complete reversal from Train. It's immunity dominating, so each team is dominating their opponent's map pick. At least so far. Obviously, still some time for Renegades to maybe reel it back in. Once they get guns in their hands, particularly, that would be their best chance.
Here it comes.
Gotta love it.
Get railed.
One of the few times Burst Fire works out.
Oh, yeah. Every time I use Burst Fire,
Wrecked.
I just get destroyed instantly. And there you have it. 11-5. And now Renegades have to be very well at this stage. Nifty, of course, skimping out on anything in this round. Standard AWP practice. I mean, you're trying to take some outside control, and so far they have been successful on that. 2 players heading towards heaven at this stage. That's Burn, are you okay? With his AK-47. Needs to be careful he doesn't team kill that. Everyone's just getting in each other's way. This is an absolute mess. It's a shambles. And
the Nifty Craters? What was that?
Did he get tagged and then fall to his death?
Yeah, I guess so. There's so much chaos in heaven, and somehow JKS might still win this. He gets the kill onto Aircast. Burn has, like, no HP, essentially. Now, he will get down. He can maybe plant. He has a lot of time, so he can just kind of take his time making these decisions.
But the simple fact is that 1 bullet and he's dead. Only 16 health left. What a mess.
I'm just waiting for the clown car music to come on. You know what I mean? Like, that's what this round has felt like. He's down Vince with the bomb now. Okay, that was probably really lame, but hey, we're having fun. He's going to get the plant, that's for sure. JKS, though, see how quick he is to get down there.
Can he cut off Burn UK before he scurries away? No, but
solid rhyme.
Definitely unintentional. JKS is going to have a general idea. And I actually think opening that door helps JKS more than Burn, are you okay? Because now he has to be very wary of the fact he could be coming around this corner and there's no sound cue to help him out. It's going to have to come down to a lightning headshot. He's going to pick it up. JKS goes down. A solid clutch, but that whole round was just an absolute mess. Pure carnage.
Yeah, it was just team damage left and right inside heaven from Renegades, you know, a guy craters. It was all kinds of a mess, and it almost still wound up being Renegades' round, but Immunity do take it, so they've won both the rounds in this half. So they've actually, you know, won both pistols in this game.
Full save. Renegades have nothing in this whatsoever. Outside again, he'll be taken control of. There's a sawn-off shotgun for Moe, and he is getting kills, but eventually he goes down. Too many aggressing CTs to contend with. Can Azza put that shotgun against the terrorists? Not quite. It's not the greatest against Armor, as he just found out firsthand. 13-5. But as a result of that full-on eco, Nifty now able to get his hands on an AWP.
I feel like this is like the last stand for Renegades. They need to make this gun round work. Otherwise, Immunity go up to 14. You have a very low body challenge. Then when they go for map point, you see where I'm going with this. I mean, this is really their best bet to have any hopes of keeping Nuke going along. Any dream of having that 2-0 finished and that slot in the major qualifier guaranteed. Of course, they had that safety net of a third map. Let's not forget that. That would be on Mirage.
Nifty trying to fend off against outside, which has been a consistent avenue of aggression by nearly said Luminosity. Completely different team, of course. Immunity is what I was looking for. Double spray down, though. JKS and Azza both chiming in together. JKS going to get robbed of that kill from Mistillo. Trying to keep this as close as possible. And to be fair, Immunity, whatever happens now, they're already in great shape because they are taking the CTs down. It's going to really put strain on their economy. It may not even end up mattering if JKS falls. He's down to 21. He's not going to get the clutch. And Renegades stomp 1 foot closer to taking map 2 and taking Renegades map off them. And of course, the last map, if we need it, which is looking increasingly likely, will be Mirage.
Yeah, indeed it would. And that would be pretty interesting stuff because Renegades have actually been really good on Mirage online in the North American scene, but they've yet to win it offline, and they've had 3 cracks at it. So they'd have to try to win Mirage for the first time in an offline setting to be able to move on to the grand finals and to get that guaranteed slot. The guys over at Immunity on Mirage, kind of mixed results, to be honest. Not really, they don't have a winning record on the map, either online or offline, actually. And again, limited play with Wizard is always going to be a factor when it comes to map fluency. Just to give you a little bit of a tidbit there. But again, we're still not quite there yet, but it feels pretty damn close given what Renegades has to work with in this round.
Yeah, 3 HEs, 4 pistols, 1 UMP, and no kits. Very little hope. And Immunity have really turned it up quite a few notches. I remember saying Gratisfaction on the first map was 3 for 18. Well, how much he's changed his fortune around. He's 20 for 12 here on Nuke. One hell of a turnaround. Bern, are you okay? Another player that was a bit absent in that first map is going to be spraying them down with the AK-47. No one looking above. And a 4th to boot. Next up. In fact, it was a 3K. Someone took Azra away from him. That was Ustillo. Finishes with a 4K as next up is the last player to fall. So Renegades, 10 rounds on the bounce to take us to overtime, or we are heading to Mirage.
Yeah, back-to-back one-sided maps, and it happens to be the opponent taking down the other's map pick in both situations. So kind of crazy stuff when you think about it, but yeah, map 3 is looking ever so likely at this point, as Immunity have proven they're no slouches on Nuke. So we are going to see the final buy from Renegades. They have to march 10 rounds forward to force an overtime and keep the 2-0 dream a possibility. We do see Immunity gathering up towards ramp room, catching Nexa sleeping over there on top of the box. And JKS goes out as well. Seem to be the final nails in the coffin of Nuke.
Yeah, you can't help but feel that maybe Renegades have already mentally checked out of Nuke, and they have their mindset on Mirage at this stage. He's the only player that has connected. And speaking of connections, Gratisfaction is going to dome him with the AK. Nestillo's M4. All that remains between Renegades and conceding this second map. Player behind the silo. Flash right in the eyes of Estillo. Can't see a single thing, but he doesn't get peeked, and he actually lands the shot on Moe. This now in the realms of possibility. He's going to smoke onto the site, but it's not good enough, and Gratisfaction will dispatch of him with a 3K. 23 for 13 he ends on. 16 and 5. Very one-sided display by Immunity. So the teams actually trade each other's maps.
Yep, same exact scoreline as well. 16-5 for both maps, so very dominant stuff. Some of those dominant maps in the tournament happening right here, right now in the upper bracket final. Hoping for tighter races, I feel like. I hope Mirage will deliver a lot more because these games have been kind of a snooze, if we're honest. It's just been each team flooring the other for a go-around. And now it comes down to Mirage to determine who is going to get that prize of guaranteeing a grand final slot, the prize money, and most importantly, that coveted spot in the major qualifier. As, you know, not too much to recap there. I mean, it really just felt like a dominant display for Immunity. I mean, even though Renegades were able to get, you know, good outside control on their T-side first half, they never really were able to roll off of it well into, like, successful executes. It seemed like Immunity always responded fine to the outside control pressure. And, yeah, there just wasn't much there for them.
No, not much to write home about that performance, honestly, for Renegades. And I honestly thought after picking up that first map, that would be it. You know, it would be at 2-0. They would be cruising towards the major qualifiers. But we're going to find out what happens next on Mirage. First off, though, we're going to cut back to the desk, and they're going to break down what we just saw on Nuke.
Yeah, we saw pretty much the same thing, didn't we? Australian teams seem to be beating each other on their own maps, and also winning second-round pistols and anti-ecos as well. All crazy stuff going off in the servers. You wonder why, at the end of those two maps, why we didn't just make it a best of one after all on Mirage, because that's exactly what we're heading to. But first, let's get some wise words from Blair and Natu after that one. Blair, what do you make of all of this? Crazy, isn't it?
It's kind of been a story of the day. We really thought after they lost in Train that Nuke, both of us agreed on that, like Nuke's going to be pretty much a Renegade show, but Immunity showing up, Gratisfaction just having an insane game there, and the Renegades just basically, they did get 5 rounds, I think on the 5 rounds on the T side, which I thought could be something they could work with, but then in the end, Immunity just surprising everyone, and like you said, Australia just taking turns, you know, giving their map picks to the other team, and yeah, Mirage, it's gonna be a brawl.
Tail end of the half is where Renegades, it's the first half, and tail end of it is where Renegades finally managed to start pulling into it. And I mean, they had the same issue that Immunity had on Train. Upon that build-up process of a round, they would never be able to have that breakup kill, which would then give them an opportunity, a lane towards a bomb site. Even if they got in, they would never be able to trade kills effectively to have the man advantage, get the bomb down, get in good positions and win the rounds. Took them a little bit too long time. And again, winning the pistol, losing the second round in an Australian fashion, as it seems to be a trend here, you know, it doesn't obviously help. It could have been a totally different first half for them, because we've known before that they have a very capable T side once they get their flow going. And then, yeah, I mean, they just dug a hole too deep for themselves. Never could recover from that.
Beautiful jumping Glock burst headshot.
Classic.
Yeah.
We love some of that
classic
action.
Australian things.
It used to be a 1.6 classic. We don't see that often in CSGO.
Very true indeed. So a win for Immunity. And was there any chance for Renegades to do something better than that? Because there were a couple of rounds where you thought maybe they should have won on the T side. One in particular stands out when they finished the half.
Yeah, Nifties. But
Yeah,
then again, we can't really say that because, you know, he put himself, like, he played that awesome up until that very last moment where he tried to shut the door and died at 0.2 seconds before the bomb exploded. It got diffused, but he made that even possible and should have never even gotten into that situation. So I don't think that really counts. 5 rounds should be enough, but when you lose the pistol round, I mean, that's when it really becomes dicey at that point. So, I mean, early parts of that first half is where they had their opportunities. Losing the second round, and then even when they get the weapons again, they could just never really get themselves into any advantageous situations.
Yeah, it was 8-4 at one point. 4 rounds on the T side, but the CTs have 8. That's a great opportunity for Ren. That's the round. Those are the rounds where Renegades could have easily got like maybe up to 7 rounds. Maybe even they could actually close it out to 7 rounds. It could have been 8-7.5 instead. They just won 1 round after that up, and yeah, just capitulated. Didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, in the sense that Immunity have made a comeback on this, they'll be buoyed now, aren't they? Headed to Mirage, they'll be thinking, wow, we can beat these guys.
Yeah, and it's Mirage. It's Mirage. It's a map I think both these teams love to play. I think every team in Asia and Oceania just love playing Mirage.
Yeah.
And
the new Dust 3.
It's a new Dust 3. And I think, you know, yeah, it was kind of like one-sided in Nuke. I think Mirage is going to be a much more back-and-forth game. Or it would just be a complete stomp. I honestly have no idea.
I mean, but remember back in the day with Vox and Amidor, when that then became Renegades eventually, Mirage was the breakout map for them.
I think almost every team.
So it applies to that region for some reason. So, yeah, I think this is going to be, I think, the best possible third map for this. Now, it's going to be Renegade's job to try to get themselves together after that loss, because obviously they were on a high after the first one. They probably felt maybe even too confident going into the Nuke, considering it was their map pick, and they were in a good spot. But then getting spanked like they did, it's super hard. I mean, yeah, especially now, the domestic matchup coming out. You saw the sawed-off shotgun coming out from Moe in a situation where they were up by a lot, and then he felt he saw the opportunity to try and taunt his opponent a little bit. Those kind of things can build up easily. So it's Kassad's job right now to put these teams back together.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Just to wrap things up on that particular game, the Mummy MVP for this particular match is Gratisfaction. Deserved?
Deserved. Although I think the entire team really showed up, and it can make up the impact rating as well. So I think there have been a little bit of changes in the impact rating. So one thing I've noticed a trend so far has been the average around 5. And so it's a little bit below average when it comes to impact rating over here. But taking nothing away, 23 kills and great stuff coming out from him. But I think overall the team as a whole just completely stepped up. While for Nifty was again still on point. But Nexa was kind of very quiet this time around. And I think it was Azza who was top fragging for the team. I think it was Azza who actually had some few rounds there. But that's about it. There was Azza and Nifty having some great rounds. But overall, Immunity just playing better overall as a team.
Definitely raised the game for the second match, that's for sure. We'll be heading into our third and final map of the day very shortly when the players return to the arena in Beijing. But until then, why don't we take some more social media questions? And we've really enjoyed these social media questions, so do keep them coming. At Blair, what would your ideal Asian super team be? I like this one.
Zoking from Vici Gaming. Bentet, obviously.
Yes.
Somebody.
Yes.
As well. And then I would actually take this player called Excurate, who plays in Rekka.
Okay.
He's played with Bentet, and in my opinion, he's very young. He's just like, what, 19 or something. Insane AWPer. Now, he's not that well known because he is playing in Rekka and again, it got like completely outshined by Bentet, but he is an insanely talented AWPer, and from what I've seen, you know, if we're under the right conditions, he can really, and especially when he plays with Bentet, I think it could really work out. And then Karsa calling. Or maybe, or yeah, I would go with Karsa because he is ideally the only in-game leader.
So classic Asian team with no communication.
Absolutely. And they'll just wreck
Need a bunch of translators over there. They'll be fine.
It's simple. It's really simple, right? You get a translator, right?
A 2 or 3 translators, more like.
And you get an assistant coach with a ruler.
Right. Oh, is this the beating the knuckles to death?
Absolutely.
routine? Yeah.
And take them and put them in Mongolia where they have absolutely nothing else to do apart from playing Counter-Strike non-stop. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how Asia is going to win a minor.
Something like
a
Himalaya.
major, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A major.
Yeah,
okay.
there we go.
All right. I have my tagged on question to this was actually going to be to both of you, and it is: when do you think an Asian team can win a major? How long is it going to take to win one?
To win a major.
Ever?
Yeah, I
A
was
year?
5
5 years?
Well, I mean,
I'm
at this point, I'm not convinced that it would happen in the lifespan of CS:GO in the major cycle. I mean, it depends. Obviously, you never know if it's going to be the next 10 or 15 years of it, or forever. Who knows? But you know, if I'm thinking within the next 5 years, it's really hard to see.
Okay. Is it reasonable to go back 2.5 years though and go? If I'd asked you the same question about a South American team,
Yeah, I mean, it is.
and you would have been very uncertain of that, wouldn't you?
It is very reasonable question to ask. I mean, what I would like to see again is like they kind of need to, you know, have teams go out and play more consistently with either Europeans or NA teams. So I mean, moving out basically out of their region to go on practice and.
What about coming back to the point we were talking about the other day, which is that China's got a lot of money right now in esports. Maybe they buy up a few of these Western teams or Western players, bring them into China, play in a Chinese Super League. Does that not help the Chinese scene?
I mean, the same thing, basically. As long as you get them to play with and against some of the top players in the world, that is the way to improve. You always want to play against the better players.
I
on a regular basis.
actually have something to add in there would be, even if you're playing against some of the best teams in the world, you need to have someone in your team who's willing to learn and understand like what you're doing wrong. South America, although, yes, no one expected them to win a major, they had a figure like Fallen, a very cerebral player who's able to like understand things and teach a lot of these concepts to some of the younger players coming up around him. We don't have that in Asia, to be very honest. And also there's a language barrier. Although they might be really smart guy in, let's say, the Middle East, you know, he's not going to play with the SCA teams or the Chinese teams, right? So that's a problem. We don't have a leader of men, so to speak, in Asia, and that's, I think, the unfortunate thing.
You need
And
you need an ROTK of CS. That's what you need.
He also dared to do the changes to his lineup right before a massive tournament as well a couple of years ago. So I mean, you also have to have that dedication. You have to have the eye for, you know, these are the guys I need for my team. This is the composition of players I need to put together.
This is the country we need to live in.
Well,
was one of the big questions.
That's obviously as well.
Mongolia.
Yeah, affects it. And then, you know, smartly they'll have a farm team per se living next door.
Yeah.
So I mean, in Immortal. So I mean, you know, that's a bit of a system going on with the Brazilians now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, we'll take one more question then. Who are the top 5 AWPers in Asia?
Okay. Top 5 AWPers.
Well, you've already named one.
Yeah, Excurate. I'm not in any particular order, but Savage.
Okay.
Obviously, legendary player.
Captain Mo.
Captain Mo. Savage. Excurate. Kazi, yeah, he had a rough day, but I've seen him perform in the past. So I'm going to definitely turn Kazi there. And the 5th player, the 5th AWPer. Many people would expect me to say Crazy Guy, the most famous like original player who came out, but he's really dropped off as well. But
Forgot he needs to practice.
Probably, I think so. But I really can't think of a
Made to
pure-
HLTV
pure
highlights,
fifth
and now
player.
his career is over.
Yeah, he's like I was on
The
HLTV.
curse.
The curse.
He was on HLTV once.
Look at him now.
Yeah, I'd just throw in Crazy Guy there probably, but
Right.
just 4 guys to be very honest.
Okay, that's a very small field, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's
For
opping, like
a lot of
dedicated
people.
Yeah.
or we can just throw in Machine Gun as well. He can op, like so can Zilkenberg,
Yeah.
so can Crazy Guy. There are too many like hybrid players out there,
Right.
but if it's just talking about pure opping skill altogether, I'd just go with these 4 guys for now.
Okay, what if we widen the field to the Asia minor region? Does that change it a little bit?
Like
Some of the Australians in there, and
Yeah.
Nifty seems pretty good.
Nifty to these North American,
Yeah, Nifty's pretty good.
sort of
Gratis-
Asian.
Gratisfaction, infrequent.
Yeah.
I think he plays for Tainted Minds right now. I'm not sure. There are a couple of very good offers. Moe's pretty freaking good with the off
Yeah.
as well.
Ricky, Australian guy.
Yeah, a lot of operas in Australia if you think about it.
Maybe too many.
Too
The
many.
Australian Sniper.
I think that's a
New
problem.
TV show. Where they battle alligators
With
and
orcs.
crocodiles with ops.
Australian Survivor. I like
I
it.
would watch the shit out of that show.
That'd be a great show, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? Let's do it. Reality TV for esports meets battling with
Australia.
alligators.
I
or
think
something.
PGL could produce it.
They probably could. Yeah, it's a whole new concept. Brilliant. No, apparently not. Right then, well, let's get back to the matter at hand, which is the third game of the day. It is the upper bracket final. Just a reminder for you, if you're just joining us at home,